Hey, what's up guys? Chris Tate here for CGTUTS, and in this tutorial we're going to be building this mailbox model you see here, and we'll be going through the entire workflow. So we'll model it, UV map it, and finally texture it. And as you can see, I chose to do a Canadian mailbox. That's just because I'm Canadian and I see these things all over the place, so I thought it might be a good object to cover. Alright, and if you look over here, you can actually see what the model looks like. It's really simple. I tried to keep it as light as I possibly could just to make the mapping process a little quicker and easier to do. So we'll just start with a box in Max and define the shape, and then we'll start looking at where we need our seams and our separations to be, and we'll just add edge loops and start detaching pieces of our box to create our separate objects. And then it'll just be a process of kind of going over each piece, fine-tuning it, adding some thickness, chamfering down the edges, and so on. And we'll do the top and the body, and then we'll move on to the front and start creating the doors here. And there's 3 of them, and they're really simple as well. It's really just what you can see here, just the face of each door. There's nothing on the inside, there's no back, there's nothing on the sides, so it's pretty quick and it won't take too long to do. Once we get the upper portion done, we'll move down and actually start working on the base down here. Build that in, and then it'll just be a matter of going in and adding the little detail pieces like the keyhole, this door up on the top here, and then the legs and the feet at the bottom. And with our model done, we'll start actually unwrapping it. And for the mapping on this, I'm going to be doing some of it inside of Max using the unwrap UVW modifier, but I will be exporting a few of the pieces actually out of Max and taking them into the demo version of Headus UVLayout. And that's just because I think it's going to be a little quicker to do some of the pieces inside of there. I've been using the demo version for a couple of months now, and I actually really like it. I think it's a lot faster, depending on what you're doing, than doing your mapping in Max. So yeah, I'll be using a combination of both, and when we get to that point, I'll give you the URL where you can download the trial version if you want to actually take it yourself and follow along. Okay, so once we get everything flattened out and mapped, we'll just organize our UVs, figure out how we want to have everything laid out for Photoshop, and then we'll just scale everything, try to keep an even resolution and pixel density over the entire texture space, and we'll just manually pack them, render out a little UV template to take into Photoshop to help us define where our edges are and where we need our damage and so on. And then we'll move over to Photoshop. Before we do that though, we will render out a quick ambient occlusion pass from Max just to help add some depth to our texture maps. Alright, and then we'll move into Photoshop and start creating the diffuse. And it's not insane. It'll be about 25 or maybe 30 layers when we get it done. And we'll just go through the process of creating the paint, adding a bunch of dirt and grime and crap to it, and then we'll paint in a lot of these dings and scratches manually and add all the text and the logos and all that stuff. You can see that this actually has some French on it, and I don't speak French at all myself, so I wasn't going to put it on, but I just decided to because the real ones do actually have both English and French, so in an attempt to keep it a little more authentic looking, I thought I'd just add that stuff anyway. And then with the diffuse map made, we'll just start working on the bump map, make that, and then finally we'll create the spec map. I'm not going to go over the rendering process or lighting in this tutorial, but I will show you how to actually set the shader up inside of Max before we finish. And I'll be using Max 9 for this, and the demo version of Headus UVLayout, and again I'll give you the URL where you can find that when we get to that part of the tutorial. And I'll just be using Photoshop CS4. It doesn't matter if you have CS4, any version will work. We're not doing anything too fancy, so it shouldn't be a problem. Alright, so let's jump over to Max and actually start working on the model. Okay, so to get started off here, I'm just going to open up a couple of reference images. So into the Utilities tab, open up the asset browser, and I just have 4 here that I found online. And if you'd like to actually have these pictures to work with, you can download them from the tutorial section of my personal website, which is christateonline.com. Alright, so I got these 4. I think we'll just use the first 2 for now. Alright, so we'll open up this guy here and this one because we can see the full height of the box. Alright, and let's just close that. Alright, so let's take a look. Alright, and it's fairly simple. There's not a lot of detail on it besides the front piece here, so what I might do is just start with a box, and then we'll kind of divide it up and just start breaking pieces off to get the separate panels and the doors on the front and so on. Okay, so let's just go over to the create panel, grab a box, and in the top view I'm just going to drag one out. Alright, we'll tweak the size in a second. Let's just get it in there, and I'm going to make sure it's centered to the origin by right clicking on the move tool and just right clicking the spinners to zero them all out. Okay, and let's jump into perspective. And you can maximize your viewport windows by hitting Alt-W. Alright, so let's Open the picture up here. Alright, and this doesn't really look like it's square. I'm not sure if it is or not, but I think we'll just make our square to make it a little quicker. And we'll kind of have to guess at the sizes here, so let's go into the modify panel. And I'm going to be using max generic units for this. Alright, and if you want to check what your unit setup is, you can just do that in the customize menu under unit setup. Alright, I just have generic ticked here. Okay. Alright, so let's just make it maybe 100 on the length, and we'll do 100 on the width. Alright, the height we can probably do, I don't know, 200, or let's try maybe 225. See how that looks. Alright, so that's probably okay for a starting point. Okay, so we'll do 100 by 100 by 225 high. Alright, so before we actually start going here, let's jump back out, and I'm just going to set up my scene quickly. So I'm going to turn my grids off with G in each view. Alright, turn the smooth and edge faces on, F3 and F4 in each view. Alright, and I'm going to turn off the selection brackets as well by hitting J. Okay, and that's all personal preference. You can leave that stuff on if it doesn't bother you. Alright, so another thing I always do is make my mesh color black, so I'm just going to do that quickly. Open up the material editor by hitting M, and just drag and drop a standard gray shader onto the model. Okay, again, that's personal preference. Alright, so let's just right click and convert our box to editable poly. Okay, and I'm just going to jump into the left view here and go to vertex, and we just want to get the slanted top here, so let's grab these two verts on the right top corner in the left view and just move them up. Check it on perspective. Alright, just something like that, and we can turn off vertex. Alright, so I think what we'll do is we'll just add some edge loops in here and start kind of blocking out where the pieces will be, and then we'll detach some of the stuff to make separate pieces. Okay, so let's start up at the top, and we'll actually add an edge loop in there for that bottom edge. Okay, so let's go to edge and just drag through the corners, and we'll do a connect. Alright, one segment, no pinch, and I'm just going to slide it up closer to the top. Alright, 93 is probably good, and we'll say OK. Alright, and let's look at our other reference picture here. Alright, so I'm just going to add a couple more loops here just to block in where these sides are. Alright, so let's grab this top edge and do a ring that way, and a connect. Okay, and this time we'll do two segments. I'm just going to zero out the slide by right clicking the spinner, and we'll just pinch them apart. Alright, let's do maybe 73 or so on the pinch, and OK. Alright, just like that. And let's figure out where the base needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to drag through again, and we'll do a connect. Alright, this time we'll use one, no pinch, and we'll just slide this loop down a bit. Figure out where it should start. Go down a little bit. Alright, let's just say negative 27 on the slide, and OK. Alright, and you can see our loop's bent here because of the angled tops. Let's straighten it out. So I'm just going to control click vertex to convert to a vert selection, and we'll just straighten the loop out. And there's a couple ways you can do that. You can either use scale and just scale down a couple times on the Z until they all go even, or you can use the make planar options down in the edit poly rollout under here. Next to make planar, you can just hit Z, and it'll straighten them all out for you. Okay. So I might just move this up just a tiny bit. Alright, that's probably close enough. Alright, so let's go back up to the top of the rollout and just go to polygon. And we'll just start separating some of the pieces out. Okay, so I'm just going to drag through the top half and then hold Alt and deselect the sides. Alright, just make sure you don't have back facing turned on when you do that. Alright, we're just looking for the top 11 polys, and to separate it out we'll just use detach. So let's go down and open that up. Alright, and we don't need to do an element or a clone, so we'll leave these both unticked, and we'll just change the name to top and hit OK. Alright, just to break it off, and let's open up the material editor again with M, and I'm just going to make a new shader that's maybe blue or whatever color you like, and I'm just going to drag that over and drop it on the top. Alright, that'll make it a little easier just to see our separation and tell where our pieces are. Okay, so let's do the same thing with the bottom. Alright, so still on polygon, I'm just going to drag through the bottom and detach, And same thing here, we'll leave these both unticked and we'll just put a name in, so let's call it base, and OK. Alright, and if you want to, you can just put the blue on there as well. Alright, so for the front here, if you look in the reference, you can see that a lot of these door pieces actually recess in. Okay, so I think we should probably punch this face in just so we have some depth. Okay, so let's select this guy here, and we'll just open up extrude, and just take it down to a negative amount and push it in. Right, it probably doesn't have to be a lot. Let's do maybe, we'll just say -7. That's probably cool, and we'll do it on group, and OK. Right, just like that. Alright, and we don't really need this face down here at the bottom, so I'm going to select it and just hit delete, get rid of it, and the one at the top as well. Select that guy, delete. Alright, and let's grab this front face, and I'm just going to hit Control I to invert the poly selection, and we'll just detach this body piece. Alright, so detach, and we'll just call it body, and hit OK. Alright, so we basically just have 4 separate pieces. Alright. Okay, so before we actually start detailing them, let's maybe do a save. Just gonna make a new folder here. Just call it Mailbox or whatever you like. Alright, copy the name out. And just save a copy. Alright, so let's turn off polygon here, and I'm just gonna select the top, and we'll start with this piece and just work our way down. Okay, so with the top selected, I'm gonna go into isolation mode with Alt Q. Okay, and we still have these 2 edge loops running across the top here. We don't really need those guys, so let's go to edge and just select these 2, holding control, and we'll hit loop, and then we'll hit control backspace to remove the edges and verts. Alright, just like that. And you can see up here that there's a seam between the 2 panels. You can probably see it better on this one. Right here, okay, so I don't want to leave the bottom just open and hollow like that, so I think I'm just going to add some thickness to the bottom edge, just in case you can see in there when you render it. Okay, so let's go to border, select the bottom border, and I'm just going to hit cap. Alright, and I'm going to go to polygon and just select that bottom poly, and we'll just inset this. So let's open up inset, and we'll just go up maybe 1.5 or so. That's probably fine, and say OK. Okay, and then we'll delete this face by hitting delete. Alright, just like that. Alright, so we'll start rolling over some of the edges here. Let's go to edge, and I think I'll start on the front top corner. Edge right there. Alright, and you can see on the reference picture it's pretty rounded over, and the other ones are quite a bit harder than that. So we'll just do this one separately. So let's select it, open up chamfer. Alright, and we'll just roll it over a bit. So let's take it up. Let's do like 2 maybe, and then we'll hit apply, and just lower down the second amount to roll it over. Right, maybe 0.68 on the second one, and OK. And then let's go around to the back and select that back top edge, and we'll just chamfer this one. Alright, let's just do maybe 0.65 on that one, and we'll do a single. So just hit OK. Alright, just like that. And then I'm just going to hit Control I to invert the selection. Alright, sorry about that. And we'll just hold Alt and just drag through these top ones here that we rounded over. Okay, we don't need to do those guys again. I'm just going to minimize this. Alright, and let's go around to the bottom. And we don't really need to do this inner border edge either, so let's just hold Alt and just deselect these 4 that are around the opening. Okay, and we'll leave the corner loop selected. Alright, and we'll just do all these guys at once. Alright, so let's do chamfer. And I might just take this down just a little bit more. Alright, you can always turn your edges off of F4 to get a better idea of how it looks. Alright, so 0.5 is probably cool, so we'll just say OK. Turn off edge, and exit isolation mode. Alright, so I'm just going to hit Z to center the model, and we'll just take a look here. And that's probably fine. Again, it's really, really simple. Okay, so we'll just repeat the process on the body piece. So let's select that, go into isolation mode, Alt Q, and we'll add some thickness here as well. Just going to take out these 2 extra edges, we don't need them. So let's go to edge, just select one, control click the other, control backspace. Alright, so to get the thickness on here, I think it's probably quickest to add just a shell modifier to it. So let's go into the modifiers, down to shell. Alright, and by default it's going to add 1 to the outer amount, and that's not going to work in our case because it's going to not match the outside of our top if we do that, as you can see here. Alright, it's sticking out, so let's just zero out the outer amount and we'll put 1.5 in the inner amount. Okay, so it matches our top. Alright, let's go in isolation mode again, Alt Q. Alright, just like that. Okay, and you'll notice the corners aren't straight here. Okay, so if that happens to you when you're using the shell modifier, you can just tick on straighten corners down at the bottom of the rollout, and it'll even everything out for you and straighten it up. Okay, so we'll do that. And let's convert it to editable poly. Alright, and again, we don't really need the extra faces on the inside, so let's go to polygon, and I'm just going to turn on ignore back facing. Alright, and we'll just go into the inside here, and I'm just going to delete everything that you won't be able to see when we're done. Okay, so I'm going to start on the skinny one here, and just hold control, and just work my way around the inside. Just selecting them. Alright, get these ones over here. Okay, just those 9, and we'll hit delete. Alright, so let's go to edge, and just grab one of the corner edges, and we'll do a ring, and we'll also hit loop. Okay, and let's exit isolation mode for a second. Alright, so let's chamfer. And I think we did 0.5 on those other ones there at the top, so let's just take this down and we'll kind of match it. Alright, so it's 0.5 on these guys, and we'll say OK. And then let's invert the edge selection. Actually, hang on, I'm just going to go into isolation mode for a second. We don't really need to chamfer this edge down around the inside, so let's just select that one there. Control click the bottom one, and we'll just use loop here. Okay. And it should go all the way around and just stop on the inside corner on both sides. Okay. And now we'll exit isolation mode and chamfer. Alright, I'm just going to tighten this one up a little bit. I don't think it needs to be that wide. Just going to hit Z. Alright, so we'll do 0.25 on these guys, and OK. Alright, exit edge, and just take a look here. I'm just going to toggle my edges off, F4. Alright, so that looks pretty good. That should be fine. Alright, so again, really simple, but I don't think we really need to do any more than that. Alright, so before we start working on the actual detailed face part, let's maybe do another save. Alright, so let's just take another look at our reference here. Okay, so it looks like the face of it is made up of 3 different doors. Alright, we got the top one there with the flap that you actually open to put the mail in, and then we have these 2 down here, which I guess they open up to empty the box. Alright, so I think what we'll do is we'll just use the existing face we still have here, and we'll just break it up into 3 separate pieces and just modify each one into these shapes that we need. Okay, and we'll also have this little slot we have to add on there too. Alright, so let's just select that face, go to edge, and I'm just going to drag through, grab both side edges, okay, and we'll just do a connect. Alright, and we'll figure out where we need to separate this top door here. Alright, so we'll do 1 segment, no pinch, and I'm just going to slide the loop up. Alright, I'm going to break it right here. So let's do maybe, we'll do negative 45 on the slide for now, and OK. And we can always adjust the height if we need to after. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll just repeat the process down here. Alright, so grab those 2, connect, and this one, it's kind of hard to tell if these are even in height. They look pretty close to each other, so we could break it right in the center like that, but I think I might just go up a little bit, just slightly. Alright, we'll just do 5 for now on the slide, and OK. Alright, and let's start detaching these from each other. So let's go to polygon, select the top, and we'll just use detach again. Again, we don't want to have anything ticked here, and I'm just going to change the name to, I don't know, top door, and OK. Alright, and then we'll do the same thing with the middle one, detach, and we'll just call this middle door, and OK. And we can turn off polygon. Alright, so we're just left with this bottom face, so I'm just going to change the name to bottom door. Alright, just like that. Alright, so before we actually start detailing anything, I'm just going to do another save, just in case we have to come back. Alright, save another copy. Okay, so let's start on the top door, so I'm just going to select that, and let's open up our reference again. Alright, so going to be a little harder to judge from this angle. I might actually use this side profile type of shot, just because you can see the shape of the door, the profile, a little easier. Okay, so first thing I do though is just get this so it's flush again with the body. All right. So let's go to polygon, and with that face selected, I'm just going to extrude it back out so it'll be flush again. Alright, so let's open up extrude, and we want to do +7, so I'm just going to take the minus out, backspace it, and hit OK. Alright, just to get it back so it's flush with the surface, and let's go into isolation mode again with Alt Q. Alright, and I'm going to try to keep these pieces really simple, so I'm not going to add a side to them or anything on the inside because I don't think it's really necessary, and you're never going to see it. And we're not going to open ours up or anything, so let's just select the top polygon and both side polys, holding control, and just delete them with delete. Alright, so it's going to go to edge, select the top edge, and let's exit isolation mode. Alright, I'm just going to pull the edge down, alright, quite a bit, and I'm just going to go to where I figure this edge right here is. Alright, and we can adjust after if we have to, so we'll just pull it down like this. We're going to have to allow a little bit of space at the top to add this little door on the slot up here. So we'll do something like that, and I'm just going to go into the left view. Alright, into wireframe, F3. Alright, and for this I'm just going to use shift drag to clone the edges and make new polys. You could do it with a spline if you'd prefer to do it that way. You could just draw the profile and then just extrude to get the faces, but I'm going to use the shift drag technique. Alright, so with that edge still selected in the left view, I'm just going to start trying to create this little indentation here. Okay, and we'll just kind of get it blocked in, and then we can go back and fine tune it if we want to. Okay, so I'm going to hold down shift and just drag that edge in a bit, let go, and then shift and up on the Y, and then we'll go back out, and I'm just going to go back out to about this edge right here, and we'll go up a little bit. And then we're going to have to go back in to create the slanted face here, so shift drag again, and we'll just do it something like that maybe. And don't worry about getting it perfect, we can always adjust after until we're happy with it. Alright, so we're actually going to have to start bringing the handle piece out, so let's shift drag out, and I'm going to go down on a bit of an angle. Okay, and we'll start making the little lip piece that you'd actually grab onto. Alright, so we'll go down, and in, down again, and back out, alright, and up, maybe a little higher, alright, and then we'll just go back, and I'm just going to go back to maybe this back edge right here. Okay, and we really don't need to continue on and do anything on the inside because you're probably never going to be able to see that we have the little door blocking it, but if you want to be safe you can just, maybe extend that, but it's probably really not necessary because I don't think you'd see it either way, but I'll just do it like this to be safe. Alright, so let's jump out in perspective and see how it looks. Alright, not too bad. I'm just going to minimize these so they're not in our way. Alright, and we're just going to have to be careful here that we don't leave it sticking out too far because we're not going to have sides on it. You'll notice that it's like, just a single face, and it'll look kind of weird because it's so thin. So I might push this back in a little bit after, but let's just make sure this shape's the way we want it. Alright, I'm just going to go in isolation mode, Alt Q. Alright, and let's just open this up again. Alright, so down here on the little indentation, it looks like this one actually has quite a slant on it. Alright, so I'm just going to adjust that. I'm just going to go to edge and just select the bottom edge, and I might take the top one too, holding control. Alright, and I'm just going to move them up a little bit. Alright, can always check in the left view. Alright, so I'm just going to move them up, I think. Just like that, okay. And this might not be exact to the reference, but that's okay. We'll round over some of the edges after we get them where we want them. Alright, just looking up at the top here. Alright, that actually might be okay, just like that. You can play around with it if you want to fine-tune it more, but I think just for the sake of speed, I'll just leave it like this, and we'll start rounding over some of the edges on it. Okay, so start up here on the top of the handle, and we'll just grab this guy. Okay, and you can see here it's fairly hard, so let's do a chamfer on this. Alright, and we'll take it down. Doesn't need to be probably a lot. Alright, we'll just do 0.25 on that one, and okay. And then down at the bottom of this piece, I'm going to take this one here and chamfer again. And I might tighten this one up just slightly. Alright, let's do 0.15 on that guy, and okay. And I'm just going to put the blue color on here to make it a little easier to see. Alright, so we'll go around to the back. And I know this is a little awkward. Alright, so the ones on the inside of the handle here, you probably never see them, but I think I'll just chamfer them all at the same time. Alright, so we'll grab these two on the back, this one here, okay, those four, and we'll just chamfer. And lower it down. Alright, maybe 0.06 should be fine. And okay, and again, you're never going to see it, so you don't have to worry too much about it. And we'll do the same with this one up here at the top of the slanted piece. We'll just chamfer that. And I'm just going to take that one up a little bit. Alright, we'll do 0.1 on that one, and okay. And we'll go down here to the edge of the indentation. And it looks fairly hard there. Let's grab this one. And I think I'm going to grab the one right here too. Alright, just those two, and let's chamfer. Alright, so I'm just going to take these ones up. And again, you can always hit F4. Turn off your edges so you can get a better idea. Alright, so let's do 0.15 on those ones, and okay. And then let's zoom in here. And I'm just going to take these two guys and this one here. And we'll do all three at once. Alright, so chamfer again, and I'm just going to tighten these ones up just slightly. Alright, maybe 0.12 on those ones, and okay. And then we'll go down and do the last one at the bottom here. Alright, I might roll this one over just a little more, so let's chamfer. We'll go up a bit on this. Let's do maybe... let's do 0.3 or so, and let's hit apply, and just lower this down a bit. Alright, we'll do 0.11, and okay. Alright, so pretty simple. Let's exit edge and exit isolation mode and just see how it looks. I'm just going to hit Z. Alright, so we're obviously going to have to pull the top up. We have way too much space here. Alright, so let's select it again, and I'm just going to go into the left view. Alright, and we'll go to vertex, and I'm just going to grab all the verts on the top, half of it, the handle, and everything else, okay, and in perspective, just going to yank this up a bit, make it a little taller. Alright, that's probably okay. Again, feel free to tweak it a little more if you want to. Okay, so let's exit vertex, and like I mentioned, I'm just going to push it in to make sure you can't see the outside edge here. So let's center the pivot on it first. So I'm going to go to the hierarchy tab, effect pivot only, center object, and then turn it off. Alright, and we'll just move this in on the Y just a bit, just to hide the sides. Alright, maybe just like that. Okay. Alright, so I think that's all we really need to do for this piece right now. Okay, so we'll just continue on and start working on this one here. And we'll do it the same way. Alright, but first I'm just going to do a save. Let's select the middle door piece there. Alright, and we'll go into the modify panel, polygon again. And with that selected, I'm just going to extrude it out, just like we did on the first one. Alright, take out the minus, backspace it, hit enter, and hit OK. Alright, so for this one, let's take a look at our other one here. Alright, it's pretty simple up here, and then down at the bottom it just looks like it goes in and then kind of comes down on an angle, and it has this little lip detail. Alright, so this one's not going to be as bad as the top one to do. Alright, so first thing I do is just go into isolation mode again, Alt Q, and this time I'm going to delete the side polys and the bottom poly, and we'll leave the front face and the top. Okay, so delete, and then I'm going to select the bottom edge, and we'll go out of isolation mode. Okay, and I'm just going to drag this one up a little bit. Alright, just to allow a little space for this detail here. Okay, and then let's jump into the left view, and we'll just do this the same way. Alright, so with that edge still selected. Alright, just open up our other picture there. Alright, so you can't really tell, it looks like it just goes in, so I think I'm just going to pull it straight in, holding shift, and I'll just move it on the X, and we'll go in a bit. Okay, and then we'll go down. A bit of an angle, maybe like that. And you can see the little lip detail doesn't go all the way to the edge. Okay, so we'll just go out and we'll stop just short, maybe at this edge here, and then down, and then back in, and I'm going to go all the way to the back edge. Okay, just like that. Check it out. Okay, just going to check the other picture here. Alright, so what I might do, it looks to me like the little lip detail might be slightly angled, so let's grab this edge and just move it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot, maybe just like that, okay? And let's check our other one again. Alright, so we're fairly close. Again, take more time. And I'm just going to go to vertex and just move these three ones just in a little bit. Alright, just to leave a little bit of space for that reveal, and let's grab the one at the top of the slanted piece and just pull it back a bit. Alright, just like that. Okay, and I think that's close enough. Alright, so let's go into isolation mode. Just going to exit vertex first. Alright, so Alt Q. Alright, so we'll just start softening up some of the edges. Let's open up our front view of this. Alright, so let's grab the top corner there, and we'll chamfer. Alright, take it down a bit. Alright, let's just do 0.35 on that one, and OK. We can probably do the same on this one here. So chamfer again, and we'll do 0.35 and OK. Alright, and the ones down in here, they look pretty sharp. It's got pretty hard edges, so let's grab this one at the top of the slanted piece, and the one at the bottom of it, holding control, and we'll just do these both at the same time and just lower the amount down. We'll do these ones pretty hard. Let's do maybe 0.2 and OK. And then we'll grab the two ones on the outside of the lip detail, and we'll just chamfer these. Alright, I'm going to go up a little bit here. It looks like it's rounded over pretty good, so let's do 0.25, hit apply, and just lower this down. Alright, we'll just do 0.1 on the second amount, and OK. Alright, exit edge, exit isolation mode. Okay, and we'll just take a look. Alright, let's throw the blue on there while we're at it. Alright, so that's not looking too bad. I think we're close. Okay. So really simple and quick. Alright, so we'll move on to the third door now. Let's just do a save first. Let's just grab that bottom face there. Okay, same deal here. We'll just extrude it out again to get it flush. So on polygon, select it and extrude, and we'll do 7, positive. Okay, and isolation mode again, Alt Q. Alright, so for this one I think I'm just going to delete everything but the front face. Alright, so all 4 of the side edges, top and bottom. Delete. Okay, and let's go to edge and exit isolation mode. Alright, just going to hit Z. Okay, and let's check our reference again. Alright, so we need a little bit of space at the bottom for this opening here, and we're going to need some space at the top to account for the actual lip of that handle, just like we had at the top. Okay, so let's grab the top edge first and we'll just pull it down. Alright, give ourselves some space. Alright, and we'll just move the bottom one up a little bit. Alright, we can always adjust after. Alright, so I'm just going to pull them up like that. Okay, and we'll grab the top one and we'll work on the top first. Okay, so let's go back into the left view with that edge selected. Alright, and this one looks like it just slants in and then goes up and then comes out into the handle. Okay, so this should be pretty easy. Alright, so with that edge selected, I'm just going to shift and drag in. Okay, and we'll go up. Okay, and we'll go out to create the handle. Alright, and maybe down like that. And out. And up. Alright, I'm just going to move that up a little bit. Okay, and then the top looks like it slants a bit, so we'll just pull this in, maybe like that. Okay. Alright, so pretty simple. And we'll go down to the bottom. I'm just going to check this out in perspective. Okay. Not looking too bad. Let's get this bottom edge selected, and we'll go back into the left view. Okay, I can't really tell what this looks like here down at the bottom. It looks like it goes in a bit and then kind of goes down and just rolls over into the base. Alright, so let's just pull this in on the X, holding shift. Alright, and then we'll go down a bit. And then I might just go back and then down. Okay, just something like that. You're not really going to be able to see this when we're done. Probably too good anyway. Alright, so that looks a little too high. Okay, so let's go into the left view. Alright, so I'm just going to take these two verts and pull them down. Alright, I might bring these guys out a bit. I don't want it to look that deep. Okay, so we'll just tweak it like that. We can check it out in perspective. Alright, just so it's a little closer to the reference. Again, it's kind of hard to see what it looks like. We might even be able to go down a little more. Alright, so let's grab all these guys here and just move them down. We'll go pretty close to the bottom. Okay, something like that maybe. And again, take your time and tweak it to wherever you want, wherever you're happy with. Alright, but that's probably good for now. Okay, so let's exit vertex, go into isolation mode. Alright, and then we'll just chamfer some of the edges down. Okay, let me just exit isolation mode for a second again. Alright, I'm just looking up here at this piece. I think we might want to add another edge in here. Okay, so let's grab that one there and this one here. Okay, just both sides of the upper slanted piece, and I'm just going to do a connect here. Okay, and we'll do one segment, no pinch, no slide, and okay. Alright, and then I'm just going to move that edge up a little bit on the Z. Okay, we can check this out on the left view. Alright, I might just go up like this. Okay. That might be a little better, a little closer to what the reference looks like. And I think we're going to have to adjust the height of a couple of these, but for now we'll leave it and we'll just chamfer the edges down. Okay, so back into isolation mode, Alt Q. Alright, and let's grab that one there, the new one, and we'll do this one and the bottom of the handle grip piece. Apologies, I know it's a little awkward to see. Alright, so we'll take all three of those, and I might do this one too at the same time. Okay, and we'll chamfer. Alright, and we'll lower the amount down. Alright, let's just do 0.2 on those four, and okay. And then we'll just grab the one up underneath, and this one here. Alright, you can see on the reference picture that that back edge at the top of the slanted piece is really hard, so we'll take the top two and that one, and we'll just chamfer these. 3, and we'll do it pretty tight. Let's take it down a bit. Alright, we'll do 0.1 on these guys, and okay. And then we'll grab this one here, and chamfer. And this one's a little softer, so let's go up a bit on it. Let's do maybe 0.4, and then we'll hit apply, and we'll just roll it over. Actually, I'm going to cancel that for a sec. I don't know if we want to have it that smooth. Alright, I'm just going to undo that with Control Z. Okay, and I think I want to do it a little tighter. Alright, so chamfer again, and let's just go down a bit. Alright, I'll just do 0.25, and okay. Alright, and then down to the bottom here. Okay, so let's grab the bottom there. Alright, and this one looks pretty hard from what I can see. So chamfer again, and I might just do that 1.25 as well, so it'll match the top. Okay, so hit OK, and then these guys underneath, you're never really going to see them, so let's just do all 3 of them at the same time. Alright, chamfer, and we'll tighten these ones up quite a bit. Alright, let's do 0.07, and OK. Alright, and now we can exit edge and exit isolation mode. Okay, so I'm just going to chuck the blue shader on there. Okay, and let's close our reference so we can actually see what we're doing a little easier. Alright, just going to hit Z. Alright, so it's not exact, but I think it's close enough. Alright, and let's move these pieces in like we did on the top. Okay, so I'm just going to select the middle door piece and go into the hierarchy tab, hit effect pivot only, centered object, and then turn it off. And we'll do the same with this guy down here. Okay, and I'm just going to select them both holding control and just push them in just a little bit. Alright, just so it'll hide that outer edge again. Alright, that's probably okay right there. Alright, so it's coming along. Let's just do a save. So before we move on and start working on the actual base piece, I think I'm just going to tweak this upper door a little bit. There's something about it I'm not really liking. Okay, I think our little indent here might have to be moved up. Alright, and it's maybe a little too wide as well. Okay, so let's just jump into the left view. Alright, we'll go up to the top here. Alright, so I'm just going to go to vertex, and I think I'm just going to grab all these verts here and just pull them up a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to grab these bottom ones here, alright, and just move them up a little bit just to tighten it up. I think it's a little too wide open. Okay, and let's grab the back ones here and just move them forward slightly. Alright, it might also be a little too deep. Okay, let's check that out. Alright, that looks a little closer to the reference. Alright, I think I'm going to tweak the handle up here a little bit as well. Let's go into left view again. Alright, you can leave it as it was if you want to, if you don't want to mess with it, but I think I'm just going to make a little adjustment here. Alright, so I'm going to grab these guys on the end of the handle. Alright, I'm just going to pull them over a little bit more. I think it needs to come out slightly. Alright, maybe like that. And it's kind of hard to tell here, but it looks like the angle on this is a little steeper than what we have. Alright, so what I might do is just grab this one here, and I'm just going to pull it over, I think like that, maybe. Alright, we will put the little door in here, so some of the stuff will be blocked anyway, but yeah, I think that looks a little better. Okay, so we'll do that before we move on. Alright, so Not looking too bad. Alright, so with those tweaks made, I'm just going to save one more time, and we'll move on and create the base. Alright, so let's grab the base piece there and go in isolation mode, Alt-Q. Alright, let's take a look at our reference. Alright, so the bottom is fairly simple. It just has some extruded little pieces and these little slots in between. Alright, let's take a look at this one. Alright, so it's pretty much the same on all the sides. Alright, so this shouldn't be too bad. Let's go into Edge to start, and I'm just going to drag through the side edges. Alright, let's delete the bottom actually first. Alright, so let's go to Polygon, drag through, deselect the sides, and just delete that bottom. Alright, now let's go to Edge and just reselect these four. And for this we'll do a connect. Alright, open that up. We'll take off the slide, we'll do 2 segments and just pinch them apart. Alright, I'm just going to try to add one in here that matches kind of the spacing from the corner as the front, if that makes sense. Alright, just like that. So we'll do 73 on the pinch, hit OK. Alright, and let's take another look. Alright, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots in the center here between those edges. Okay, so let's go through from the front, and we'll just select the back and front at the same time, do a connect, and we'll take off the pinch and do 5 segments and hit OK, and we'll do the same thing this way, connect. Alright, so we have 5 in between our corner edges there. Alright, and let's grab all of them and just hold Alt and deselect the actual corner ones. Alright, just so we have 28 edges selected. Alright, just going to take another look here. Alright, so we're going to need some spacing in here, so let's chamfer these. Alright, and one actually looks pretty close to being right, so we'll just say that's cool and hit OK. Alright, and let's go to Polygon and turn on Ignore Backfacing. Alright, and we'll just select the polys that we want to pull out. Okay, so I'm going to start here on the corner and just go along, skipping the thin polys, and we'll just select all the wide ones. Okay, just like that. 32. Alright, and we'll just extrude these out a little bit. Alright, so extrude. We'll do this on local normal. And we'll take the height way down. These don't have to come out too much. Let's do maybe just 1. Alright, they don't need to be very deep. Okay, so we'll say OK. And then let's go into the top view. We're going to have some bent corners probably here, so let's turn off Ignore Backfacing and just go to Vertex and zoom in on the corners. And you can see, because we extruded it on local normal like that, sometimes you'll get this uneven situation on the corners. So let's just go to Vertex and just straighten them out. Okay, so everything's kind of even. I'm going to move these up, move these guys out. Alright, just like that. Alright. Okay, and let's take another look at the reference. Alright, so it looks like they kind of have a bit of a bevel on them as well. So let's go to Polygon again, and I'm just going to start on one side here and just select the front faces. Okay, and I'm going to go around to the opposite side and select those front faces. Alright, we'll do 2 sides at a time. Okay, and then I'm going to go up here to scale, and just going to scale in slightly on the x-axis. Right, just a little bit, doesn't have to be much. And you can look down at the bottom of the screen there at the coordinates and see how much I'm doing if you want to match it. Alright, so I'm going to go very slight, we'll do maybe 92 on the x. Okay. Alright, just like that, and then we'll do the same thing on the opposite ones. Okay, so grab these ones, go around to the opposite side, grab these ones. Okay, and we'll scale again. Alright, this time we're going to do it on the Y, and you can always look down here. Alright, so let's scale slightly. Alright, I'm going to do 92 again. Alright, might have to do 91. Oh, there we go, 92. Alright, so 92 on each, just so it'll match our previous ones, okay? And our corner's going to get a little screwed up here, so we'll have to fix that. Alright, so we'll go back out to the front view. Alright, so we'll have to do this again. Apologies for that. Alright, just going to straighten things up. Alrighty, so let's take a look at it. It's going to exit vertex. Alright, hit F4. Alright, so not too bad. We're going to have to chamfer some of the edges, but before we go any farther, let's do a save. Just so we don't have to redo that stuff if we have a crash. Okay, so let's close in the top and bottom. So I'm just going to go to border and just select the top border and control click the bottom one. And we'll just cap these for now, okay, just so they're filled in. And we're going to have a lot of edges to chamfer here, so I'm just going to, I think, do all the edges at once just to make it a little quicker, okay. So if we ignore back facing unticked, I'm just going to drag through and grab all the edges. Alright, and we'll just chamfer these down. You could go along and deselect some of them if you wanted to, but just for the sake of speed, I'm going to do it. And I think I'll do these ones that cross here just to make sure we don't have a problem on the corners. Okay, so let's chamfer, and we'll just take it down. Alright, this part doesn't have to be a lot. Let's go maybe up a bit. Alright, we'll just do 0.2 and OK. Alright, so we can exit edge, and let's just take a look here. Alright, so not too bad. Okay, so let's exit isolation mode here, and you'll notice it doesn't fit anymore with the body because we extruded these polys out. Alright, so it's kind of sticking out on the sides again. Alright, so let's just fix that quickly. I'm going to do that in the top view in wireframe with F3. Okay, and we'll just scale it down slightly and try to get it to match kind of the case size. Okay, so on the triangle, just go down ever so slightly. Right, just like that. So 98 on the X, Y, Z. Okay. Alright, and we're probably going to have a bit of a gap in here because we did that, as you can see. Alright, so let's go to vertex and just drag through all the top verts, and we'll just close this up by moving these up on the Z axis. Alright, I'm just going to go up until it touches the bottom of the body piece. Okay, just like that. Alright, so let's exit vertex and just take a look. Make sure everything is okay. Alright, doesn't look too bad. Alright, so I think that's close enough. So we don't really have a lot more to go here. A few more pieces. We'll have to add the little feet on there. You could leave those off if you decided to, and we just have the little lock and the little flap at the top to do, and then we'll be done with the model. Alright, so let's save though now that the base is done. Alright, so let's start working on this little door up on the top here. Alright, it's really simple. We can probably just make it out of a box. Okay, so let's jump into the front view. Alright, just zoom in on that opening. Okay, and we'll go to the create panel and just grab a box. Alright, I'm just going to drag one out here that kind of fits the size we need. We can do it in wireframe, F3. Alright, so just get one in there. Maybe like that. Okay, give it a little bit of height. Okay, and let's just pull it forward so we can see it. Alright, I'm just going to position it in the left view. Just about there, maybe. Alright, so let's go into the modify panel. Alright, let's just make the width 78. Okay, and the length we'll just do 4. And the height we can probably just do 3. Okay, just like that, and let's go in isolation mode, Alt Q. Alright, I'm going to convert it to a poly, and just spin around to the back and select the back face and delete it. Don't really need that guy. Okay, so let's go to edge. I'm just going to throw the blue shader on here. Alright, change the mesh color to black. Alright, so we'll just round over the edges here on the front. Okay, so let's select the top and bottom one, and we'll do a chamfer. Alright, just going to take it down a bit. Let's do maybe 0.5 or so. Okay, and let's hit apply, and we'll just take this down to a really small amount. Alright, let's do 0.15 on the second one, and okay. Alright, and then I'm just going to invert the edge selection by hitting Control I, and we don't really need to do the back edges, so let's just hold Alt and deselect those, and the side ones. Okay, and the edges look pretty hard on the edges of the side there, so let's chamfer again, and actually 0.15 might be cool for those. Okay, so we'll just leave it like that and hit OK. Alright, so really simple, that's all we really need to do for that though. I'm just going to put the smooth modifier on this just to smooth the faces out a bit. Alright, so we'll go into the modify list, down to smooth, and I'm just going to use auto smoothing here because it's quicker. Okay, and let's give this a name. I'm just going to call it I don't know, slot door or whatever you want. Okay, and we'll exit isolation mode and just make sure it's looking okay. Alright, so that should be fine for that piece. Alright, so we only have a couple more pieces left. I think we'll do the lock little keyhole next. Alright, and you can see on the reference here it's kind of weird, the shape of it. Alright, so I think I might deviate from the reference for this and just make a really simple one. I'm not going to bother cutting the hole actually into the door for the keyhole, so I think I'll do one that's got a little narrower of an opening so you won't see in there and notice that there's no hole. Okay, so let's go into the front view. We'll just zoom in where we need it, which is right here. Okay, and I'm just going to go into the create panel, and we'll use a spline for this, I think. So let's go to the shapes panel and just choose circle. Alright, and I'm just going to go into wireframe, F3, and just drag one out here. Okay, let's just do maybe 1.9 on the radius for that. Okay, and then zoom in, and I'm just going to choose a rectangle as well, and just create a little slot in here that'll look kind of like a keyhole. It's not going to be accurate, but that's okay. Alright, so we'll just drag one out like that maybe, and let's just center it to our circle. So I'm just going to click on the align tool and then click on the circle. Alright, and you just want X, Y, and Z ticked here, and say OK. Alright, so just like that, and let's go into the modify panel. Okay, so we'll make the length 2, and the width, we'll just do 0.32. Alright, and I'm just going to up the corner radius a little bit to round over the edges. Alright, we'll do 0.07 on that, or so. Okay, so really simple. And let's right click and convert that spline to an editable one. Alright, editable spline, and we'll just go down to attach and attach our circle to it, just so it's all one piece. Okay, and let's jump out, and I'm just going to move it forward in the top view so we can see it. Let's go into perspective. I'm just going to hit Z to zoom in on it. Alright, so to get some thickness to it, let's add a shell modifier. Okay, shell. And I think I'll probably just leave the outer amount at 1. Okay, just like that. And let's go into isolation mode, Alt Q. And I'm just going to convert this to editable poly. Alright, and let's go to polygon first and just go around to the back, and I'm just going to delete the back face because we don't need it. Alright. And I think I might move this edge here, so I'm just going to put my blue on so we can see. Alright, when you convert a spline to an editable poly, you'll get these edges cut across from the inside edge to the outside edge, and you can't completely remove those. It does need to have at least one, but you can change the position of it. So let's go down to cut, and I'm just going to cut a new edge from maybe right here on one of those verts, and I'm just going to go up to the top, vert, and click, and right click to end. Okay, and I think I'll do one at the bottom of the hole just to make sure it turns out okay. Wait, render. Okay, so we'll just do the same thing. Go vert to vert, and you can tell you're on a vert when your cursor turns into a little tiny square. Okay, and then we'll go to edge and just select this one and control backspace it out of there. Alright, so just like that. Okay, so let's maybe select one of these side edges and do a ring on that, and we're going to do a connect. Okay, and we'll just add one segment, 0 pinch, 0 slide. Alright, and then let's go to polygon, and I'm just going to select the front two faces holding control, and I'm going to control click vertex, okay, to convert the selection to verts, and let's hold alt and deselect the ones around the keyhole, okay, just so we have the outer one selected. Alright, I'm just going to go to scale and just scale on the triangle just slightly to bevel the face. Okay, so let's scale down a little bit. Maybe just like that. Alright. Let's go back to edge, and I'm just going to drag a selection around the hole in the center. Okay, and then we'll hold alt and deselect these two edges we cut in. Alright, and we'll jump into the left view, hit Z, and I'm just going to hold alt and deselect the back and inside edges of the hole. Okay, just so we're left with the outer border. Okay, and we'll just chamfer this down slightly. Alright, so chamfer. Right, take the amount way down. Alright, we're going to get some weird edges here, but we can fix that in a minute. Alright, so let's just do a really small amount. We'll do 0.05 and OK. And let's jump into the front view and just zoom in here. And you can see our edges are all screwed, so let's go to vertex and just grab this vert and just move it down so it's kind of even. Alright, we'll do the same on the bottom. Just move it up. Alright, just even things out. Okay. Alright, so I think we should probably chamfer this outer edge here too, so let's go back to polygon, and it should still be selected. If not, just reselect these two faces, and we'll control click edge. Alright, and we'll just hold alt and just drag through the center here. Alright, just deselect everything but this outer border, and then we'll chamfer. Alright, let's go up a bit here, round it over. Alright, let's do 0.1 on that, and OK, and let's grab this one here and loop it, and chamfer, and we'll just take this down, and keep that one kind of hard. Alright, let's do 0.04 on that guy, and OK. Alright, and we can exit edge. Alright, so a really quick little lock, or keyhole, but it should look okay, I think. Alright, so I'm just going to change my color to black for the mesh. Alright, and let's put a smooth modifier on this just to make sure the faces aren't too rough looking. Alright, so back into the modifiers, down to smooth, and I'm just going to tick on auto smooth here again. Alright, so just like that, and let's name it. Just going to name it keyhole, or whatever you like, okay, and we'll exit isolation mode, and let's just position it properly. So let's go into the left view. Alright, we'll push it back. We want it to be on this slanted piece here. Alright, so let's go to rotate, and we'll just spin it a little bit. Try to match the angle, and then just push it in until it touches the surface. Alright, just like that. Okay, I'm just going to take a look at the reference again. Alright, so it's a little lower than midway, so let's move it down a bit. I'm going to put it right there, maybe. Okay. Alright, so just like that. And that should be fine, I think. From a distance out here, it's going to look right. Alright, so now that we have that done, we're getting pretty close. We just have to add the little feet on the bottom. Alright, so before we do that, let's do another save, just to be safe. Alright, so for the little feet on here, kind of hard to see exactly what they look like. They look pretty simple. Just has a little pad on the bottom and a little square leg. Alright, so we'll just do this really simply as well. Okay, so let's go into the top view. Alright, just going to hit Z. Alright, so we'll just zoom in on the corner here. And I'm just going to start with a box. Alright, so let's go back to the query panel to standard primitives and grab a box. Alright, and we'll just drag one out here in the corner. Alright, not sure how big we'll need it to be, so we'll just make something like that maybe and give it a little bit of height. Okay. And let's just make it maybe 5 by 5. Alright, and let's just do 2 on the height for now, and we'll see how that looks, okay? Alright, so let's just zoom in here so we can see it, and I'm just going to move it down on the Z. Alright, so it's sticking out of the bottom. Alright, might have to be a little bit bigger. Let's just make it 6 by 6. Alright, Alright, so that's probably okay. We'll leave it there for now, and then when we get the bottom pad piece on, we can position it a bit better. Okay, so let's go into isolation mode and convert it to an editable poly. Alright, and we'll just dump the top and bottom polygons because we won't need them. Alright, and let's go to edge and just select a corner, do a ring, do a chamfer, and we'll just round the corners over a little bit. Take it down just a bit maybe. Alright, let's do 0.8 and we'll hit apply and lower this down. And do 0.1 maybe. And okay. Alright, and that's it. That's all we have to do, I think, for this. So really, really easy. Alright, let's throw the blue on there. Let's give it a name. I'm just going to call it leg. Alright, and let's start working on the pad. Alright, and again, you can't really tell what they look like from here. It's pretty simple. We can probably just make it out of a cylinder. Alright, so in the top view, zoom in here on our leg. Alright, we'll go back to the gray panel and let's just choose cylinder and we'll draw one out here. That's a little bigger than our box. Alright, maybe like that, and give it a little bit of height, okay? And let's make sure it's centered, so let's go to the line tool and just click on the leg. Alright, again, you want XYZ, and okay. Alright, so let's just jump into perspective here and just move it down to the bottom. Alright, taking our look here. Alright, so it's going to have to be a little thicker, so let's go into the modify panel. I'm just going to dump the height segments by right-clicking the spinner. We'll put the sides up to maybe 30 to make sure it's a little more smooth looking. Okay, and let's just do maybe 4.4 on the radius, and the height, let's do 1. Okay, just to make it easy, and then we'll move it down again to the bottom. Alright, so just like that. Okay, and it's looking a little plain right now, so let's convert it to editable poly. Okay, and I'm just going to change the color here. Change my mesh color. Alright, so let's go to polygon, and the first thing I do is just delete the bottom one, because you'll never see it. Alright, and then we'll select the top, and let's do an inset on this. Alright, I'm just going to inset it just a bit. Alright. I'm going to give it edge detail on here, so we just want to make sure it's not going to be interpenetrating our leg. So let's do 0.65 and okay. Alright, and then let's go to edge, and we'll just grab one of these edges and do a ring, and control click polygon. Okay, and then we'll just bevel this. Alright, so let's open up bevel. Take the height way down, and up the outline amount to untwist the polys. Alright, so let's do 0.15 on the height and negative 0.15 on the outline amount. That should be cool. And okay. Alright, and I'm going to exit polygon and just go into isolation mode here, Alt Q. Alright, so pretty simple. Let's just soften up some of the edges a little more. Okay, so let's grab these ones on the top here of our bevel and loop and chamfer. Alright, we'll just smooth this out a little more. Alright, so we'll do maybe, let's do 0.1 and okay. And let's grab this guy here and loop that and chamfer. Okay, we'll tighten this one up a bit. Let's do 0.03 and okay, and then the inner one we probably could leave, but let's just do it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to select the inner polygon there, control click edge, and then chamfer. Alright, we'll just leave that at 0.03 and okay. You're never going to see that stuff anyway. Okay, so let's exit edge, and let's chuck the smooth modifier on this guy as well. Alright, smooth, auto smooth, and let's give it a name. I'm just going to call it foot pad or something. Alright, exit isolation mode, and let's just see how it looks. Alright, so that's probably fine. Alright, we could have maybe gone a little bigger, but I think I'll just leave it as is. If you want to, adjust the size, you can. Alright, so let's jump in the top view and we'll just position it a bit better. I'm just going to move it back in, I think, a little bit. Alright, so I might just go to about there. Alright. just going to line it up on this edge here and this edge here. Alright, and let's just make a couple copies of it quickly. Alright, so we'll zoom out, and I'm just going to hold down shift and drag a copy over on the X. Okay, and we'll do copy, and okay, and then we'll just move in here. Alright, position it the same way. I'm just going to move it over to those edges, again, right here. Okay, and let's select the other one, and the foot pad. Alright, so all 4 of those, and we'll just shift drag a copy on the Y to the back. Alright, copy and OK, and let's just make sure it's positioned. Alright, so we'll just move it up to that edge again. Alright, so we'll know it's even. Alright, so let's jump out, take a look. Okay, so it's looking pretty good, and I think we're about done here. I'm just going to do a quick save. Okay, so I'm just going to select everything and just open up the material editor and just put our gray shader on there. Alright, so let's just take one last look. I'm just going to open up our reference again, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Alright, I think we got everything we needed to. Alright, so let's just close these, we don't need them. Alright, so we didn't get it exact to the reference, but I think it came out pretty good. It's fairly close. Alright, so I think that'll do it for the modeling part of the tutorial, and I hope you got a good result. And in the next part we'll move on and actually start UVing this and getting it ready for some textures. Okay, so that'll do it for this one, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.